Hello! So, you are a brand new Steam Deck owner, or you're just wondering about what the Steam Deck is like. I thought I'd make a video about kind of the basics of owning a Steam Deck, some tips and tricks, stuff like that. So, this is what a Steam Deck looks like. You get the screen. I have the OLED version, the 512. So you get the 7.4 inch screen. You get two trackpads, two joysticks. You get the four buttons. You get a D-pad, start and select. You get a Steam button, and then this three-dot button. And here are the speakers. And so, if I can pull it out of the case, this is about how thick a Steam Deck is compared to a thumb. It's not the thickest, it's not the thinnest, it's definitely thicker than a Switch, but it's, I think, the thinnest of like a Legion Go or Xbox Ally, whatever. You can tell I got the OLED version because of the red thing. It also comes with shoulder or back buttons. One thing I like about the Steam Deck is that it's actually really comfortable, and so if you can kind of see my hand here, it fits just right into the palm of your hand. And one thing I was worried about was the placement of these things, because I know as you can tell, it's kind of like a PlayStation where it has like the Xbox style buttons where the A's here and the X and Y are here, but it's kind of like the PlayStation where it has joysticks at the same, they're not staggered. I prefer this over the Xbox style. It's a lot easier on your thumbs, and so it's actually really easy to get to the buttons. So if you're in the joystick, it's really not that far to go to get to the buttons. And even using the trackpad too, you're not scrunching up your thumb to get to the trackpad. It's simple, just down. The only thing is scrunching is to get to this button, but you're not using it that often. But it's still accessible from the joystick as the main hub. And so as you can see, I'm downloading something, but I'll quick turn it off. So there we go. So it's now in sleep mode. So you have, I assume you've already set up your Steam Deck, select the language, signed into Steam. Now this is what it's like to awaken it. You click the button and it's on instantly. And so this is the front page here. This is where all your games will be. Your most recent game will be here in the largest rectangle, but all your other games will be here. You have a search function, your current downloads, notifications, your Wi-Fi, battery, and the time. And also here's your profile picture for your Steam account. You can also go down here to see where your friends are. You can see what's new, to see the games you have. They'll have different news stories. So like Warframe just had an update. Plushies for No Man's Sky are out, stuff like that. And so if you want to play a game, this is super easy. All you do is you select the game, you hit either the touchscreen or the button, you hit play, and this one you would just choose Steam Deck. Once you hit play, it'll show you the different layout too, so you'll see the Steam logo. It'll load, and boom, you're into your game. Once in the game, you have the Steam and triple dot buttons. So the triple dot buttons, this is where you can access all of your quick features inside of a game. So this is where you can adjust your brightness, your audio, and one thing that I don't hear anyone talk about is that this has a built-in mic. Where? I'm not sure. My guess is these two holes up here might be the mic. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what those are for, but that's my guess. We can adjust that. You can turn on Bluetooth. If you want to save on battery, you can turn off Game Rumble and Steam Haptics. Also, this is where you can get the overlay. So right now, it just says 45 frames per second. You can turn that off. Oops. Here, you turn it off. Level 1 is just that. Level 2, it tells you a bit more. So this one, it'll tell you, let me turn the volume down, the speakers are really good. Tell you the battery percentage, right now it's plugged in, it's being charged. It'll tell you how much battery is being used. If it's not plugged in, it'll tell you the VRAM, the RAM, the GPU, all sorts of cool stuff. If you want even more fun stuff, you can go to level 3, which tells you that. And level 4 is for the super nerds. It'll tell you all sorts of stats, all the different CPU stuff. So I usually leave it to level 1, so at least I can kind of see what FPS I'm getting. With that, you can also go to advanced view, and you can see that you can have a per game profile. So if we were to turn this on, it would save this just to Hades. So every time I open up Hades, it would be 90 FPS, or 50 FPS, or 60 FPS. Right now I have the sweet spot is at 45 FPS because it also has 90 Hertz refresh rate. And so this is the sweet spot for balancing battery and performance. And so that's why it's only 45 frames per second. This one is, it's higher than 30, not quite 60 frames per second, but it's better than 30 frames per second. And so you won't notice much of a difference, especially if you play a lot of indie games. It'll go really smooth. And you would adjust the slider here, and you can go down. You have all sorts of fun stuff you can do. It'll also tell you when it's charging, how long it'll take before it's fully charged. When you have the battery, how long the battery life will be. And so it's a live setting. And so if I were to choose, if this was unplugged, I could set the FPS differently, and then it'll adjust the time. Up here is where you have your notifications. So this is where people are online, what they're playing, downloads. So right now I have a friend request, 19 comments on different forums I'm on, and I have new stuff in my inventory. You go here to see your friends. This is the quick settings. The one with the lightning bolt is where you can adjust the battery. And if I wanted to, I could also browse soundtracks. And I mean, I could listen to the Hades soundtrack, but if I wanted the Goat Simulator one, I would download the album and I could listen to that while playing Hades if I wanted to. And there's also a help one as well. I usually hang out here, so I'm going to adjust the FPS and look at the battery. But now, I'll go down to quit. We'll go back to the main menu. So to quit a game, takes a couple seconds, boom. And so each game will have their own game page here. This is where you can go into settings. To manage, you can hit manage to delete, add to favorites, add to a certain thing if you want. This is where you can see your game. You can see which controller is up here if you connect a controller to it. You're going to see this is the official layout for Hades. So I believe it's, yep. You can also hear too, whenever you see this, it's Steam Deck verified, which means that it'll run officially and it's been made to run on the Steam Deck. So this is where You go to activity, you can see you and other people playing the game, your stuff. This is where all your achievements and stuff will be here. Community, this is where you can look at people post fan art and videos. And the game info, this is where, like, if there's DLC, it'll show up here. Discussions, so this is where, like, when it said I have comments, you can go to discussions and actually view. So, like, this game seems to not support controller and Mac. Easy game. Can't have full relationship with Dusa and Aphrodite. Where the in-game screenshots. People post bugs here. People post. You can post here to see if, like, you're having trouble with a certain boss or mini boss. You can post it here. People will comment on it and help you out. There's different guides people have done, and if you want to look at the store page too to see, I don't know if you want to look at the store page and see, like, this one is by Supergiant Games, overwhelmingly positive. You can look at that. So each game will have its own game page there. And so now there's the Steam button. The Steam button is where you have home, which is this right here. This is the home. You can go to library, which will show, well, this is the installed. You can go to all games. You can see your entire game library. You can look at all the ones that are installed. You can add to your favorites. So if you just want a quick list. And then this is where non-Steam games. So if you download EmuDeck, which I won't show you, but you can look up how to do that for emulation. This is where all your emulated games would be. Or I can show you, this would be if you want to download a browser. This is where the browser would be. And then you have soundtracks here too. So if you wanted to listen to the Hades soundtrack, you can do that. And let me quick give you a preview of the... Oopsie, I'll turn up the volume. This is what the speakers sound like. So yeah, I think they're pretty good. Now back to the Steam button. You can go to the store here. This is where you'll have, like, right now they have, because it's Christmas, they have a winter sale. So this is where you'll have, like, Elden Ring's on sale. Everything's on sale practically. Divinity, Binding of Isaac, Spider-Man, Dave the Diver, Cult of the Lamb, Balatro, Fallout 4, Pal World. Some of the deals are pretty ridiculous. I love Steam. And then this in the store, this is where you can browse by category. Or you can also go up here to categories. You can do recommendations. So give you some recommended for you. You can do your discovery queue, blah, blah, blah. And so you can also search here too. Search for games. It'll show you some of the more popular games here. And also this is where you can click verified, so you can have just verified Steam games. Just because it has the yellow circle with the eye doesn't mean it's not playable on the Steam Deck. It's just that you have to use an in-game keyboard or the Steam Deck keyboard, or you may have to, maybe the text is a little small to read. It'll work on the Steam Deck, but it's not like tailored for the Steam Deck. And so you'll have, like, Arc Raiders is a purposely made settings that fit the Steam Deck. So when you're on the Steam Deck, it'll run smoothly. The graphics will be good. Text will be legible. And they've tailored it to play on the Steam Deck. Yeah. And this is also too where as you go, you can wishlist games. So when you click on a game, you would go to down here, add wish list, and it'll add it to your wish list. And this is where you can kind of look and keep track of it'll notify you when certain games go on sale. So yeah. Now back to the Steam button. You can do friends and chat. There's friends in the here, but this is where another place where you can see friends, and this is where you can open up chats with them and see who's online, what they're playing. This is where you can join their games if they're in multiplayer. Media. This is where you can look at screenshots you've taken. So this was taken on the Steam Deck, in-game in Hades. Beautiful game. From here, you can also go to your downloads. You can see, so like Megabonk needs download, so let's download that. Download that patch. And then settings. This is where you can customize it. So you have system settings. You can check for updates here. You have different options for system update. You can have stable, which is the regular one. If you want to go to beta, this is where you get early features that aren't quite fully fleshed out yet. Or preview where you can. I'm not sure what preview does, but I know beta. It's where you can get features that are still being tested, so there may be some bugs. I usually leave it on stable. You can change your time zone. Security. This is where you can do a lock screen if you want. I don't have one. Internet is where you can connect to your internet. Notifications. This is where you can control what you want notified. Display. This is where you can change the brightness, the scale of interface, and enable night mode tint. Power. This is where you can battery percentage. This is where you can turn that off and on. And this is where you can put when the display dims, how long it's till sleep, audio, the output, the microphone output. You can enable UI sound stuff right there. Bluetooth, this is where you connect a controller. You would hit Bluetooth and then pair it, and your paired device would be, you would have, searching for devices, it would show up, you tap it or click it, and then it'd be under your paired devices. I don't have anything right now. And this is the controller. So this is another place where you can turn on Game Rumble, Steam Haptics. When you have another controller hooked up, this is where it'll show. Right now it's the Steam Deck controller, obviously. If you have a controller that has a Nintendo button layouts, like if you have the your Joy-Cons or whatever, you can connect to here. You can tap that, so it'll use the Nintendo button layout in game. So instead of pressing, so it'll be A, B here. So A will be right here where it is on the Nintendo one. So you can do that here too. So this will be A in game, but right here on my controller it says B, but it'll functionally be A if you turn that on, if that makes sense. And this is where you can customize your keyboard. So this is where you can change your keyboard theme. Right now, to turn on the keyboard, I'll show you how to hit Steam and X. Oh, maybe it doesn't show up here. Well, anyways, right here. So this is mine. This is the default one, which I mean doesn't look too bad. It looks like a Steam Deck one. This is where you get like Spectrum, if you want Rainbow, Night Shift. If you want to look like it's like a computer terminal, candy coated. If you want to look like a iMac 1, I usually use it on Totally Tubular. This one's mine. And you can adjust the haptics, stuff like that. And then customization, this is where you can change your startup movie. So this is where you can go to the point shop. And so this would be when you wake up, when you turn your Steam Deck on, there's Hades, Elden Ring, Special Delivery. So let's say you want to change that. You'd go here to buy it, equip it now, and Retrowave would be the default. Oh, it's downloading. There you go. Now it's downloads. So now this one will be the startup movie. I'll show you what the startup movie will look like. Actually, first I'll show you the default one. I wish it would show you a preview of it. Accessibility. This is where you can adjust the UI scale, high contrast mode, color filter. And friends in chat. You can add nicknames to friends, group them, blah blah blah. Downloads, it'll show you the download region. You can limit the download speed, etc., etc. Cloud, always enable Steam Cloud, because then when you go to your computer, everything you do on here will be saved to the cloud, which it'll sync to your computer. In-game, family, if you create a Steam family. Remote play, this is where you can enable remote play so you can pair with a computer. And then storage, this is where you can see your games, how much memory you have left. So right now I only have 37 gigabytes free, 463 gigabytes. So, and it'll show you the biggest ones. So Cyberpunk is 61 gigabytes, Doom Eternal is 89. Doom Eternal is probably one of the bigger games. I don't know of any other game that's there probably are some bigger games, but just, Doom Eternal is going to take up near almost 100 gigabytes, nearly 90 gigabytes. Game recording, you can set it to record manually, record in background, or turn it off. And so if you hit Steam button and A, it'll start recording your game, and then you'd hit Steam button A again to turn it off. And then you would find it in the media section. And then your home, you can show just what you show in your home. Library, this is where you would add a game, activate a project on Steam. And then the store, this is where you can adjust mature content, exclusions, stuff like that. So that is all in the Steam menu, in settings, I guess. And another cool thing about this is that right now we go to home. This is gaming mode. Super easy. Go to the game. Go to the game, hit A, play, boom, game's loaded. But there is also another feature of the Steam Deck. Is if you hit Steam, or you hold down the power button and go to power, you can switch to desktop mode. And so this is how long it takes to switch to desktop mode. And this is my animation I chose. It's a different animation, but that's the one that I chose. And boom, you're in desktop mode. So it takes a little bit. You can control the mouse with the joystick or the trackpad. So it takes a little bit. There we go. So the trackpad is for finer movements, and you just would click it like this. just like you would the left mouse button, or you can also use the right trigger too, for a mouse button. And if you want quicker movements, you would use the joystick. And so I use kind of a mixture of both. Some people don't like using this on the small screen with this, but I find it super usable. So this is where when you first start off, you'll notice Firefox here, but it won't be downloaded. You just click it and then it'll pop up a thing to download it. And this is a fully functioning computer. You have like your start menu, where you have applications, internet, multimedia. You have your own settings here. So this is where you go to system settings. This is where you can choose your wallpaper, your theme of all your windows. This is where you do, let's see, keyboard. This is where you can adjust your keyboard further. If you have this and you bought the dock, you put it on the dock and you plug it in right here and you cast it to your TV, you would go to display and monitor. And this is where you would have two, because I think when you first plug it in, it'll be casting this screen onto your other screen, so it'll be a dual screen. To turn that off, you would go here and you would select this as your main screen. Why is that the orientation? It should be this. You can scale it up. So this is where you would go for that. And mouse and trackpad, this is where you can adjust your left-handed mode. You can adjust the pointer speed for the mouse, for the touchpad, if you have another touchpad. Game controller, sound, So this is where you would go for that. So here's some of the different options, just in case you're curious. So yeah, it's a fully functioning computer. You have, this is a desktop. You can go here to Firefox, load up Firefox, go to Facebook. I want to show you my Facebook. You go to YouTube. So it's just like you're on a regular computer. You can put it on full screen mode. So this one has a chat. So yeah, you can have different tabs. It's just regular Firefox. You have different tabs. You can listen to a video while scrolling Reddit, etc., etc. You can shop on Amazon. And you have minimize, you have make it smaller or exit, close. And if you want, you can even run Steam like you would on a desktop and actually play your games like you would on a desktop too. So you go to library, you would choose this, hit play, and it would play just like it's on a desktop. So you can, yeah, so this is the Steam Deck, desktop mode. And to go back, all you do is go here, double click this. I don't know how to change that, but there's probably a way to. And then boom, you're back into gaming mode. And so now I'll show you. So you hold down the power button, shut down, confirm. I believe it's off now. And you hold the power button. There you go. This is the original startup movie. Now, if you wanted to change that, you go again. You'd go into Steam settings. You go down to customization. Hit Retrowave. Oh, here we go. Preview. Here you go. There's a preview option right here. You just hit preview, and so that's the one that, you know, when you go to here, then that'll show when you first turn your Steam Deck. Boom. But I usually don't turn my Steam Deck off. I usually just put it in sleep mode. And so now that everything's downloaded, so as you saw too, is when you hit this to go into sleep mode, if you're downloading something, it'll tell you if you want to keep downloading it. So you hit that, and then the screen will turn off, but it'll still be kind of in download mode, and then it'll fully go to sleep mode once the download's done. But so if you're playing a game, so I'll show you. Actually, we'll go to Hades, play. So you're playing, do. It's hard to do with my right hand. You're playing Hades, and you go to the bathroom. Click the button. It goes into sleep mode. That little winky face, and then boom, it's in sleep mode. And then when you return, you're back into the game. The only issue would be is that I think if you're playing obviously like an online game, then it would be in sleep mode, but other people could see you and kill you, or whatever you're playing. But if you're playing a single player game, it'll go from where you're at. And so that's a really cool feature I really like. And if you want to exit the game, you just hit start. Because this is the PC version, you would go down to quit. And boom. And then you go over to quit again. Sometimes it'll have an option to exit game. Sometimes it'll just say go to main screen. Depends upon the game. But yeah, so that is kind of how you use a Steam Deck and such. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them. I have another video so this is kind of for anyone who has already owned a Steam Deck and kind of their first foray into it, what to do, how to use it, or if you're wondering about a Steam Deck, kind of what it's like to have one. I have another video I posted that if you're looking at getting a Steam Deck, which Steam Deck would be good for you, you can look at that. But yeah, feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to probably be posting a lot more Steam Deck content. Since I just got a Steam Deck and kind of been enjoying it, want to kind of help others. Yeah, feel free if you have any questions, message me or comment below. Yeah, so thank you again for watching. Hope this was helpful and you learned something. Yeah, thank you again for watching. Have a happy holiday.